again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with a continuation, part 3 of the Interlocking Parquet Basketweave stitch. Okay, big thank you to all of you for joining me again today. Thank you so much, and a big thank you to Lion Brand for sponsoring this series. So we have a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to try to do a full repeat, which is technically 12 rows. So it's going to be a little bit fast, but I want to be thorough. Now, because these initial rows, they're a little bit, funky because they were the beginning rows that we had to work with. So for the full repeat, well, this was rows 1 through 3, A and B. Then this block was rows 4, 5, and 6, A and B. So we are going to be starting today on row 7. So it's going to be 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to be repeating rows 4, 5, and 6. So it's 7, 8, 9, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope you get the gist. So even though we're going to be doing it out of order, it will be cyclic. It will be a cycle for the repeat. So we're going to start with rows 7, 8, 9, A and B, and then go back, double back to rows 4, 5, and 6, A and B. Okay. And as always, timestamps in the description box, as well as some links, especially where you can get the yarn. All right, let's get started, shall we? All right, start your engines, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Okay, row 7A. Start off by chaining up 3. Do, 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 do. Okay, we had our verticals, so now we need to swap over to horizontals. But as always, we need that first double in that first stitch for our border. Chain 1. Because we need horizontal, we have to go around through the back. Grab that stitch, pull it up, chain 1, round the back, grab, double, chain 1, and then we need our verticals, so we're going in the front. Chain 1, round the front, chain 1 to the front, chain 1 to the front. Okay, then around the back, chain 1 through the back, double, chain 1, round the back, almost had it, there we go, and double, chain 1, and then to the front again for our vertical bars. To the front, chain 1, 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 and our border block, second chain from the bottom. There we go. And that is the end of row 7A. Alrighty. Okay, 7B. Chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Going to do our first double in the back here for our border. chain 1, going around the back for our horizontal stripes. Grab it from the back. Didn't grab all the plies there, did I? No. There we go. And double, chain 1, round the back, grab the top of that stitch and double. And we've got our horizontal bar. Then we need the verticals. So chain 1, going in through the front of these next stitches for the verticals. Chain 1, the front, chain 1, the front. Sorry, I'm having issue. There we go. Chain 1, and then back to the horizontal, so we have to go in through the back. Chain 1, round the back, chain 1, and around the back. Chain 1, okay, into the front for the verticals. Chain 1, into the front. Chain 1, into the front, chain 1, and then for this last one we have to go around the back, going into that second stitch from the bottom. There we go, and double, and there you go. So we've maintained the integrity of our blocks, and our lines are not going to be going in the opposite directions in which they were, and we are all set to continue on to row 8. All right. Okay, so row 8, starting with the dominant color, chain up 3, and maintaining what we're doing as far as the border blocks, double into that first one right there, chain 1, scoot the work, then next bunch are in the back. So going around the back to maintain our horizontal stripes, chain 1, round the back, chain 1, and around the back. Chain 1. Next 2 are going to be in the front, maintaining our vertical stripes. Chain 1, and then in the front, chain 1, next 4 in the back, in the back, chain 1, in the back, chain 1, in the back, chain 1, and in the back. Chain 1, next 2 in the front for the verticals, front, chain 1 in the front, and then we need to finish up in the back for our border block. So scoot that to the front there, and there we get those two. So double in the next, chain 1, and then last stitch in the second chain from the bottom. There we go. And that is the end of row 8A. There we go. Okay, so for row 8B with the passive color, start off by chaining up 3 and going to do a double around the back into the top of that stitch, because we have to maintain those horizontal stripes. So chain 1 around the back, chain 1 and around the back, and double and chain 1. Now we need to do the vertical stripes, so into the front, chain 1 into the front, chain 1 and into the front, chain 1, horizontal stripes, so round the back, chain 1, round the back, chain 1, round the back, chain 1, vertical stripes in the front, chain 1 in the front, chain 1 in the front, chain 1, and last but not least, in the front into that second chain from the bottom with your last double. There we go. Ta-da! And that is the end of row 8B. All right. Okay, so row 9A with the dominant color, start off by chaining up 3, turn, and maintaining our border blocks, double into that first one in the front, chain 1, horizontal stripes, so going around the back, scoot in there, grab the stitch, pull it to the back, chain 1, again to the back, chain 1, and then we have our vertical stripe, so in the front, chain 1 in the front, chain 1 in the front, chain 1 and in the front, chain 1, horizontal stripes in the back, so it's 2 in the back. So got our first one here, chain 1 again in the back, that's our second, chain 1, and then the last bunch in the front for our vertical stripes. So in the front, chain 1 in the front, pull out some more yarn as needs be. It does happen. There we go. So grabbing it to the front, double, chain 1 to the front, chain 1. These last two are also in the front for our border block. And double into that second chain from the bottom, as always. There we go. And there you go. That is the end of row 9A. All right, let's proceed. Okay, 9B, working with the passive color, starting in the back there, chain up 3. There we go. And going to continue on with these border blocks here, so do that first double in the back. Chain 1. Okay, continue on with the next one in the back. Because we have our horizontal stripes, chain 1, next one in the back. And because we don't want to mess up our blocks here, we're going to continue to do the rest of the stitches in the back with one fell swoop. Chain 1 in the back, chain 1 in the back, chain 1 in the back, chain 1, hope if I would separate that a little bit. There we go, in the back, chain 1 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 in the back, all the way across. And then last but not least, double into that second chain from the bottom. And there you go. So that is row 9B, which is the same thing that we did down here, but we have ourselves more established than we did before. So perhaps it makes a little bit more sense. Yes. All right. Let's continue on. There we go. Okay, so since we did 7, 8, and 9, A and B, now we're going to be doing 4, 5, and 6. So row 4A, starting off with the dominant color in the back, chain up 3, double in the back with that first one for our blocks, our border, chain 1. Okay, now we need to have our vertical stripes, so going in through the front with the next 2. Chain 1 into the front, chain 1, and then the next bunch we need to do in the back. So round the back, grab the top of that stitch, chain 1 in the back, chain 1 in the back, chain 1, and in the back. Chain 1. Next 2 are in the front for the verticals. Chain 1 in the front, chain 1, Okay, and then the last of them are going to be in the back for the horizontal stripe. In the back, chain 1, 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 and second chain from the bottom, double into that last stitch. There we go. There. There we are. So that is row 4A. And so you can see that the lines are starting to do their thing in the opposite direction, which is exactly what we want, and it's a fabulous thing. Let's go on to row 4B. All right, so for row 4B, working with the passive color in front, chain up 3. And we're starting off with our vertical stripes, so we need our stitches in the front. So in the front, double, chain 1, in the front, grab that stitch and double, chain 1, and grab the next one in the front and double. There we go. So we've got our 2 verticals there. And then going to the back, chain 1, round the back because we're doing horizontals. Chain 1, around the back, double, chain 1, and around the back, double, and chain 1. All right, now for the front stitches again. Okay, so to the front, double, chain 1, next in the front, chain 1, and to the front, chain 1. Okay, switching over to the back for our horizontal. Chain 1, round the back, grab that stitch, show it who's boss, double, chain 1, and in the back, chain 1. And because we need to join this stitch right here, we're going to do this one in the front. So into that second stitch from the bottom, double, and there you go. So that is row 4B. So we got our passive side and our dominant side. It's looking so nice. All right, let's continue on to rows 5A and B. Okay, row 5A, dominant color in the front, chain up 3, first double into that first double right there for our border blocks right there. There we go, chain 1. And we have our vertical stripes, so continue on in the front. So grab the front, and double, chain 1, to the front, double, chain 1, and one more to the front. There we are. Chain 1. Okay, next bunch in the back for our horizontals. So around the back, grab you, pull you to the back, and double. Chain 1, around the back, grab that stitch and double. Chain 1. Okay, then we have our verticals again to the front. Chain 1, double to the front, chain 1, double to the front, chain 1, and double to the front, chain 1. And we need to finish off with 2 more in the back for the horizontal. So round the back, double, chain 1, around the back, grab the stitch and double, chain 1, and we need to finish up our border blocks. So those last 2 are going to be in the front. Chain 1, last double, second chain from the bottom. You know the routine, right? There we go. Okay, and that is the end of row 5A. Looking good. All right. Row 5B. Okay, so passive color in the back, chain up 3. And, well, we need to continue on with our vertical stripes there. And so going to go in to the front of that first stitch, grab it. There we are. Chain 1 into the front. Chain 1 and into the front. Chain 1. Well, now we got to go into the back for our horizontals. So around the back, double, chain 1, round the back, double, chain 1, round the back, and double, and chain 1. Okay, back to the front. Well, continuing on with the front, you know what I mean. Going into the front with the next bunch with our vertical stripes. Okay, in the front, chain 1, in the front, chain 1, double in the front, chain 1, and then next bunch in the back for the horizontal stripe. Okay, around the back, do your double, boil and bubble, toil and trouble, chain 1, round the back, double, chain 1, and around the back, get into that stitch right there, chain 1, and last but not least, in the back, second chain from the bottom, double. There we go. Ta-da! And there we go. That's the end of row 5B. Okay. Okay, we are approaching, we're getting there. We're approaching the end, row 6A, with the dominant color in the back. Chain up 3. Okay, so we need to continue on with our border block. So first double in that double right there, shaboom, chain 1, and for our vertical stripes, in the front. So double in the front, double, there we go, chain 1, double in the front, chain 1. Okay, then for our horizontals, double in the back. Chain 1, double in the back. Almost had it. There we go. Chain 1, double in the back, chain 1, and double in the back. Chain 1, next 2 in the front. Chain 1, double in the front, chain 1, pull out some more yarn as needs be. Okay. Next bunch in the back for our horizontals. There we go. In the back, chain 1, in the back, chain 1, in the back, chain 1, and these next 2 also in the back. These next and last 2, chain 1, and last double in the second chain from the bottom. There we go. And there you are. That is the end of row 6A. We're so close. Yes, we are. We can do it. Okay, so row 6B for the home stretch. Working with our passive color in the front. Chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to be working our stitches all in the front. So double in that first one, chain 1, double in the front. Chain 1, double in the front, chain 1, and in the front, and so on and so forth. Chain 1, double in the front, all the way across. And this will set you up for doing one of 2 things, either continuing on with rows 7, 8, and 9, A and B, or you could finish your project, either or, by doing a row 6C, as I showed you once earlier before. So either way, you could keep going on by repeating rows 4 through 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A and B. Oh, I forgot my chain 1. See, I do it myself. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A and B, as many times as you want to, and then ending on a row 6C, and then you'll be all set to go for the joining, if you will. So that being said, we finish that up, and yeah, so that is the end of row 6B. And actually, you know what? I made a slight boo-boo right here. See, I didn't do my chain 1 there, but don't tell anybody. It's a minor point. It's going to drive me crazy, but yeah, see, I make mistakes too. At any rate, so right now you are all set and primed, actually, for continuing on with row 6C, when you turn your work, if you, were to end your project here, what you could do is with your dominant color in front, chain up 3 and do all of your stitches again in the front for row 6C, and that will give you the border blocks that you would need for doing your finishing border, where you merge the 2 layers together and really give it a nice polished look. But by all means, if you want to keep doing your repeats, go right ahead. And, like I said, all of the timestamps are going to be in the description box. And naturally, I don't normally do things out of order, but honestly, I think that in the grand scheme of things, it's easier than filming even another part of repeats. So that's why I did it this way. I hope it makes sense. I don't try to be confusing, I just succeed at it sometimes. All right, chain 1, and then 2 more. Okay, and shaboom. So this is the end of my row 6C, so to speak. And there you go. Ta-da! So as you can see, we have our border all the way around for the dominant side. And on the other side, we have our lovely basket weave all the way around, looking nice and pretty. And so it's at this point that we are primed and ready to go for doing our finishing border sort of, trick, if you will. Yeah, so there you go. Okie dokie. So after doing as many repeats as you want, and you have finished off with a row 6C, figuratively speaking, you are then all set to go for doing your final rounds, which means that we're going to add a round of single crochets around the A color and a round of half double crochets around with the B color, and then with the A color we're going to be doing a round of slip stitches or single crochets, whichever tickles your fancy more. Now before you do that, you are going to want to untie your 2 layers when we initially tied them together, and then we can get started with our first round together. Okay, so we're going to start off with the B color, and like I said, we're going to do a round of half double crochets, and that is going to elevate this layer a little bit, give it some height, because the passive color, the color B, well, it's 1 box smaller on each side, and we need to raise it up a little bit. So I'm going to start off by chaining up 1, and then do 4 half doubles into this corner space. When we come full circle, we're going to do another half double in the space for a total of 5, and then slip stitch to join. When we reach the other corners, well, it's just 5 half doubles. So it's pretty easy to do. So going to begin with 4 half doubles. So yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll do the 5th one when we have come full circle. Now, going across this side here, going to be doing 2 half doubles in each of these spaces, and because these are double crochet bars. Then when we reach the bottom, we're going to do half doubles in the tops of the doubles and half doubles into the spaces. It's one per each stitch. So one in the top here, one in the space here. So going to mosey our way across this side, 2 doubles around each bar. Now, is this step 100% necessary? No, no. You could leave this open if that is, an aesthetic that you're going for. Sure, you could do that. Personally, I think that doing this finishing edging for this kind of a project really makes it a bit more polished and a little bit more cohesive. But it's really not going to add a lot to like structural integrity or anything like that, because the whole thing is interlocked together. It's not going to come apart, is basically what I'm trying to say. You don't have to worry about that because we were locking it together every row of the way, but it just makes it look nicer. And I already have to pull out some more yarn, naturally. Excuse me. And so just a couple more. Okay, so we've reached the corner space, so it's 5 half doubles in the corner. 1, 2, there we go. 3, 4, and 5. And you can deal with sewing in your ends later. It's not a big deal. Just make sure that you're working with your working yarn and not with your tail yarn. Scooch that out of the way. So now going to do a half double into each double and a half double into each chain space. And do this all the way across until you reach the corner, and then you would do another 5 half doubles in that corner space, and then along this side you would do 2 half doubles around each double crochet bar, and then when you reach this corner you would do another 5 half doubles, and then along this edge you would do a half double into the top of each double, a half double into each of the chain spaces, and I will meet back up with you around here so that we can finish this round together. But the rest of it, it's pretty much the same as to what I've been doing. So I will meet back up with you in just a bit. Okay, so I'm almost done with my color B. Almost. Just a couple more half doubles until we're done with the round. Just have to get into all those plies. There we go. Okay, I'm having an issue here. Slight yarn splitting, but not anything I can't handle. There we go. Happens with the best of them. Okay, and into here. And like I said, going to have to do one more half double so that we have our total of 5 in the corner. So do this one more half double, then going to slip stitch to join. There we go. Voila. Okay, and then you can cut your yarn, which I'm going to do right now. Just leave a bit of a tail so that I can sew in the ends later. And there we go. So color B is completely finished, and as it is, it looks a lot more polished even right now. Okay, so scooting right along, footloose and fancy free, we now are going to be working the color A all the way around, but we don't need quite as much height with color A because it has more blocks. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing for color A, except instead of half doubles, we're just doing single crochets. And that's really the only difference between these two. So chain up 1, and I was just about to do a yarn over. Nope. Going to go in and do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. We're going to do the 5th one when we've come full circle, and then just like we did before, 2 single crochets around each double crochet post until we reach the corner, where we do 5 single crochets in the corner, and then along the bottom edge do a single crochet into each chain space and a single crochet into the top of each double crochet stitch, and then another 5 singles into the corner space, etc., etc. It's really that easy, and you would join it in the exact same way when you have come full circle, and then my dears, then we do the sort of sealing joining round. All right, so I'm going to do this round just as I did the previous round, and, well, we will do the sealing together. All right, I shall see you in just a moment. Okie dokie, so I'm almost done with my round of single crochets, and then we can join the 2 layers together. And 1 more in that corner space so that we have the total of 5, and slip stitch to join, and we are all set to go. Now, this next part, it's straightforward yet fiddly in a sense, because we still have more of these color A stitches than we do the color B stitches. So we're going to have to do a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of finagling as far as the joining is concerned. Don't worry, it's really quite minimal, and I don't want you to stress out over it because you won't even notice it. That's the best way I could put it. I mean, a man traveling by top speed on horseback is not going to know the difference, okay? So going to chain up 1 and going to go in through this first stitch and then go in at around the same point on the color B, the white, going in through a stitch. And before we go through both layers completely, just try to see, are they approximately in the same spot in relation to each other? I would say almost. Let's see, that's like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. It's just me and, just me being persnickety with my own work. So after going through both layers, pull up a loop, and then you can single crochet them, or you could, like I said, you could slip stitch them. It's really sort of a moot point. And then you go through the top layer, then the bottom layer, go through both, pull up a loop, and pull through 2 for the join. And another way that you could do it is you could just go through the front loop of color A, and then the back loop of color B, pull through those and join them up. You know, it's essentially the same thing. I mean, honestly, I think that it looks a little bit neater to go through both layers, because you can see it's sort of split the layers a little bit by doing that. But this way, going through both loops of the V, it's a little bit cleaner, I think, you know, as opposed to trying to do sort of a mattress stitch join kind of thing. You know, so if you go through both layers and both layers like that, all 4 of those, pull up a loop, and then pull through 2. Then go through the next, both layers, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and so on and so forth, all the way across. Now, what you will notice is that as you're working along, you're not going to be in the same spot on this side as you are on this side. And that's when you're going to have to do a little creative sort of stitching together, a little decreasing. And so I'm going to work my way across doing the exact same thing of, again, going through, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Go through the front layer and the back layer, pull through both layers, and then pull through 2, the front layer, the back layer, pull through both, pull through 2. I'm going to keep doing this all the way across, but as I start to notice that they're sort of getting shifty, that is when I'm going to come back to you, and I'll show you how you can fix that. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've been stitching away, and on this side it looks nice and neat and pretty, and on the back side it also looks nice and neat and pretty. However, once we get closer to the corners, you'll notice, see right here with our unjoined spot, we have like one of these boxes left and then the corner. On the opposite side, you'll see that we have 2 boxes and then the corner. So that's where we have to do a little bit of creative decreasing. Not to worry, it is quite simple. We're going to be accountable for our stitches and utilize them, but in a creative way. So we need to decrease on this side while still going through the back side. So to accommodate, going to go through this next stitch here and pull up a loop, going into the next stitch. Don't pull up a loop, no, instead go into the next stitch in the back, then pull through all of your stitches but one, and then pull through those 2. Okay. So we managed to decrease, and then we're going to do that again. Going to pull up a loop, going into the next, and then go into the one in the back, and then pull through those 2, pull through the next, and then pull through 2. So it still maintains that nice clean look, but we're decreasing some of these stitches while still going through the stitches pardon me, and my focus, we're still going through the stitches on the back, and we're still maintaining what we need to do. So we just decreased 2 stitches, and we're almost at the corner here. Now on this side, we still have another block, so we're going to do a couple more decreases. I think maybe 2 more decreases, and then we should be just fine. In the grand scheme of things, it is, like I said, it's a very minor point, really. But pull up a loop, going into the next, go through, then go into the back layer, pull through, and then pull through 2. And we'll do 1 more decrease for good measure, I think. So going into the next, pull up a loop, going into the next, going into the layer in the back, pull through, and then through the 2. And it's at this point that our corners should more or less be lined up. So that was like the first stitch on color A in the corner, and it's about the first stitch on this corner. So yes, they have lined up, and it still maintains a nice clean edge. So yes, there's a little bit of, like I said, fiddly finagling, but it does work. And then we're just going to continue on around this corner, just as if nothing happened. So going in through this layer, in through the back layer, pull up and single, through the top, through the bottom, pull up, oops, pull up, and then pull through 2, through the front, through the back, pull through 2, through the front, through the back, pull through 2. And then going to essentially do the same thing until we reach the following corner. If we need to decrease, well, then we will decrease. You know, we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's how you deal with the sort of size discrepancy between the 2 layers. You just do decreases with the color A side and incorporate them into the stitches on the back side, and it will totally work. So that being said, I figure I'm going to tool my way across and go from there. Okay, so after working my way around and doing the joining and, accommodating with some decreases here and there, we are almost done. It's not, I would say it's not like an exact science kind of thing. It's more of the, fiddling, tweaking kind of thing scenario. But it works. It does. It works. And I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Yes. It's a beautiful thing. Finishing something is always a beautiful thing. And this one last stitch. Get in there. Yes. And shaboom. And then slip stitch to join. Haha. And then we can cut our yarn. There. And our piece is complete. Gorgeous on the front side, gorgeous on the reverse side. You can sew in your ends and you are good to go. Yes. So, as always, I really hope that you liked today's tutorial, the whole crochet along, if you will. And I want to thank you all for joining me, and I want to thank Lion Brand for sponsoring this video. Thank you so very, very much. As always, links in the description box down below, timestamps also, and you know what to do until next time, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day.